So, I am still, obviously, doing Division 2 videos. I'm not following the development as such, but if I do browse through Twitter, speak to people on Instagram, the comments section, and there are things pointed out, I will bring them up and talk about them. And in this case, I feel it's really important to talk about this, especially for the new players. Those of us that have been around for a long time, basically the Division 2 veterans, will already know that this is the case. But I'm just spreading awareness because this continues still, and we are 3 months away from this game being 2 years old, and this is still going on every single time. So, I've looked through Twitter, I've seen their patch notes for their weekly maintenance, and what have they done? Instead of focusing on things that will benefit the player and help the player out, they are taking away from basically issues they create within the game. They are removing them that benefit the player. Like basically everything there is in this game, glitch, bug, exploit or not, they will remove it as fast as they can so that it doesn't benefit the player. But when they mess up with a mechanic and they've released it supposedly how it's intended to work, they won't change it and update it and tweak it so that it benefits the player. Basically, my point of this, the notes for this maintenance, and yes, I understand this was abused heavily in PvP, but they are doing this across the board. So they've just seen that it's a problem. Instead of going, oh, we're going to give you guys the ability to do this in PvE for a week, we're going to patch it so it doesn't affect people's gameplay experience in a negative way, we'll patch it for PvP, but we'll leave it alone as we made it was our mistake, so we'll leave it in the game for a week or so, let you have some fun with it, and then it'll be patched. Instead of that, and using the time when they're instead of basically leaving it up, letting players do what they want for a week or two or whatever, and focusing on bigger priorities, they just instantly smash down that hammer of, we have power, we're going to do this. Because there are lots and lots of problems. Like, the Division 2 is one of the most problematic games in history. It's just been an absolute shambles, or at least for me personally, it's one of the biggest games, biggest amount of problems in games that I've ever experienced. And the developers have never ever helped out with this, and people will say, oh, this stuff, it takes time, to tweak an optimization station and reduce the amount of resources it costs takes time. So how comes, as soon as there is a problem with the Memento backpack, they can patch it. As soon as there is an issue with a damage glitch, they can patch it. Even if it's emergency stuff and disabling the turrets, they took that damage glitch down fucking fast. And they do it with everything that would make the game fun. If you can build up your Memento stacks before going into a mission and then run into the mission in PvE circumstances only, and you can have an absolute blast with that, they will patch it. Whereas if there's something like the optimization station, which even for new players is an absolute grind, they won't touch it. That will come in the next title update, even if that's a minor or a major title update. So the difference between 12, 12.1 and 13, 12.1 being the minor, they will still just leave things until those that they have their priorities backwards. Everything they should be focusing on, they never bother with. Everything they shouldn't really focus too heavily on, or they should put it basically to the back of the work pile, they fucking put it out straight away. So these maintenance notes, they fixed an issue where the Memento Exotic Backpack could gain kill confirmed talent stacks whenever certain skills explode, even without kills. They fixed an issue where players could get memento stacks / power-ups from destroying their own skills. Fixed an issue where the named Empress international gear pieces could drop at purple quality. Excuse me? Isn't that Caesar's Guard, the named item? That's one of the new brand set pieces. Because I've seen images of that dropping purple. Just please. They only really bother doing stuff for players that have Warlords of New York, so just, if you're level 40, you should never see a purple drop ever. Remove purples from the fucking game. I don't know how many times players have to scream for that to happen. The amount of shit other game developers get due to loot dropping at shit rarities when you are max level. Anthem managed to take all the lower quality stuff out. I can't think of any other games off the top of my head, but basically developers will listen, and when you get to that max level, you won't encounter this shit loot anymore because it has no purpose. You're a max level player. So, for level 40 players in this game that are, leveling up their Shadewatch or whatever, they've gone past the Warlord story, take purples out of the game. I don't know how many times we have to say it. There is absolutely no point. They are the most irrelevant pieces of gear. Do you know how many more people would run open world stuff on heroic difficulty and everything if purples didn't drop? People go through control points and they open crates, and even the big yellow boxes from actually capturing a control point will drop purple gear sometimes. Purple shouldn't be dropping for a max level player, like, at all. That shouldn't be the case. But for whatever reason, they've kept it in the game, and now they also made a mistake and accidentally allowed the new brand set to drop a purple quality. The named stuff as well, the stuff that's more important. It just shows you that they don't pay anywhere near enough attention to this. But they've also fixed an issue where players incorrectly received a global event star when leveling up. And they fixed an issue where deconstructing pieces of the rigger gear set did not yield materials. How? I don't fucking understand how they do this sort of dodgy shit within their game. How do you make so many mistakes with every single update? I don't know if it's the developers or the higher ups. I really don't get who is doing this. Whether it's development lead or if it's going on to QAs and like the QA team and they're not bothering looking through the stuff. I mean, like even the PTS, players are leaving feedback and they're just being ignored. This needs to be sorted, and people will say, why are you still trying? Why are you bothering with this game? It's at the end of the game. I know for a fact that they're going to try and make a Division 3. They are currently working on Avatar, although it did just get delayed. I don't think it's coming out till 2022, but they are making new games. Massive Entertainment are not closing down as a studio, and the more we kick off and the more we point out the fact that they are in the wrong for doing this, the better chance, well, I don't know if it will have an effect. My ultimate goal is to try and have a positive effect by ranting, because hopefully developers will pay attention to the things we say as a community, if we all stand up and voice our concerns and thoughts, and hopefully it will make better changes. No one in this world is going to be happy if they release a Division 3 and it's anywhere near as bad as Division 2. They need to start listening to their community. They need to be more transparent. I recently spoke with, I believe Yannick is now development lead, I'm not entirely sure, but I spoke with Yannick, who you would have often seen on the State of the Game live streams, and there's just absolutely no talk of why supposedly, I don't even know if there ever was really, but supposedly they had to drop the gameplay event from Codename Nightmare, and they had to just make it an apparel event for absolutely no reason. They haven't explained the reason as to why they've needed to do that. If they would have said something like, oh, we showed it off at the Ubisoft Forward presentation, and there was no way we can have it done in that time. For what we had planned, it was far too much. Fully understandable. Crack on. Don't hide shit from your community, because we're the ones that make these things go ahead in the first place. But I'm going to end the rant there, because I say it a lot. I could sit there and do these for hours and hours on end. I could just sit there talking about all the problems in games. But I suppose that's what I've got my channel for. Loads of different videos, loads of different rants, pointing out all the mistakes in games, and hopefully one day within at least one game we can make positive change by just pointing out the negatives. And I don't hate the games that I rant about, I still play them. It's just I rant because I express my concerns, get you guys involved with the discussions, hope and pray that developers can have a look and they can do something about it. So my ranting for Division 2 from now on isn't always just because it's the Division 2. This is in hopes that someone from Massive Entertainment will see this and go, oh okay, right, people are not happy with what we are doing. Let's make sure we work harder on our next games and make our consumers happy. At the end of the day, they are paying to play our game and we're fucking them over. I don't know how else to put it, but I'm going to leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this in the comments. Do you think it's right that they focus on things that would have a good impact for players and they just put everything else on the back burner that should be prioritised over this stuff? But at the end of the day as well, it is good they are fixing it in terms of it being abused in PvP, because that ruins other players' experiences and that's not fair. But let me know all of your thoughts and stuff in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.